Hey everybody, Ben here for the Better Podcast, and Games Workshop have dropped an article today detailing more changes for teams in Season 3, so I thought we'd have a jump in and look. Alright, so over on the... Whoa, where is it? Where's it gone? There it is. Alright, so over on the Warcom today, they have dropped an article, Find Out What Team Changes the Warhammer Studio are looking forward to in Blood Bowl. And there's some really good, interesting stuff in there, which I think you're going to like. So the new edition of Blood Bowl is available for pre-order this weekend, and it's fair to say that Blood Bowl fever has very much gripped the specialist design studio. Teams are being dusted off, tales of past glories are being told, and the smack talk has already begun in preparation for the next iteration of the Studio League, the Forge Bowl. Love that. So the excitement in the office is palpable and almost impossible not to get swept up in, because Blood Bowl is the best. We had a chat with a few members of the Specialist Design Studio to find out what they are playing and what they're most excited about in the new edition. But can we just appreciate, again, I know I talked about this, but all the shots they are making for this edition is just, it's some of the best photography we've seen for Blood Bowl. I mean, I know it's just the old world stuff with Blood Bowl in front of it, but it's cool, isn't it? It's very cool. Okay, so Tom, games developer. While all sensible Blood Bowl coaches must praise Nuffle, the new edition sees me ramp up my devotion to Nurgle. With a few minor tweaks to the roster, the standout for me being slightly cheaper bloaters with stand firm, it feels even more exciting to field the team on the gridiron. Overall, the Nurgle team feels more well-rounded than ever before, and I'm excited to get some games in. Okay, so I think two big things here for Nurgle, being that, well, one that they've already put, but the thing is the availability of the new secure the ball rule, right, which allows anybody to pick up the ball on a 2+ unless they're unsteady or a big guy. Now, whether or not the bloaters count as being unsteady or big guys, it doesn't matter. The issue that Nurgle have had in the last edition is that their rotters went, I think from 2016 to 2020, they got Edge busted, basically. They were Edge 3+, they were Edge 3 in the old edition, which would have given you a 3+ to pick up the ball, and it became Edge 4+, and it just meant that the only people on the roster that could pick up the ball, really, were the Pestigors, and now every team has kind of had their roster changed to one box. It means that Nurgle are only going to have 2 Pestigors, so secure the ball kind of does help the roster out in that the rotters can still pick up the ball on a 2+, which is much better than it used to be. And now cheaper bloaters, can't disagree with that, and the fact they come with stand firm is fantastic. Now this is something I love, that I think Games Workshop have been doing for quite a while now, which is putting tier 2 skills for free on players, and not really for free, but like, you know, instead of it being a skill choice, because like if you're running bloaters, it takes a while for them to get to 6 SPP to take a skill. So actually stand firm is great on bloaters. It works really well with their identity, with how they work, with what the team wants to do. So actually just free rolling them stand firm as start of their starting package means you never have to take it as a third skill. Like it's kind of one of those things where, okay, well, do you know what I do want on my bloaters? Block. So that I really like that. I think that's just a really positive thing. So Phil, miniatures designer, Squee, or should that be Squeak? I've been playing Blood Bowl since the very first edition, and the thought of a new edition and the promise of board games with my Skaven is something I can't wait for. Right there with you. It might be even time to repaint my main team, the Doofers of Doom. They have a laughably patchy history, and I've been punching and kicking their way up and down the pitch since the 90s. I've always run a team that includes just 2 gutter runners, spending the savings on a rat ogre, so the addition of stab for them and giving strip ball and increased movement to the blitzers will not only add to the insane amount of touchdowns the doofers are famous for, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Skaven on the channel a couple of times. You know, RIP 4 gutter runners, but a really solid starting build for Skaven has always been the 2, well, I say always been, in this edition has been the 2 gutters and a roger. I don't mind that. The last couple of leagues, I think I've run with that. I may have gone 4 gutters because I do like touchdown. Anyway, you end up with 4 gutters and a rat ogre, but one of the ways to get there is 2 gutters and a rat ogre, and if that's the limit now, that's fine. That means that Skaven are either going to start with that full roster, or, you know, an Apo and a couple of extra linemen and 3 or 4 rerolls. But I mean, I don't know what the costs are going to be like. I assume that having a strip ball movement 8 blitzer is going to boost up the cost of that player a little bit. So hopefully you can still take everything on the roster. Ah, it worried me now. Anyway, you know, we knew about the scathing changes. This one, however, is awesome. So Snotlings are my go-to. This is Callum. So Snotlings are my go-to team in Blood Bowl. Someone has to play the cheeky little blighters. I love Snotlings. Do we bring back the Toot-Walled Tiny Titans? Ooh, I do like that team. Yeah, we might have to. Yes, I think we're. Yeah, all right. We'll have to clear that with the patrons and the supporters to make sure that when we start the Bonehead Championship 5 in January, we can have the Toot-Walled Tiny Titans back. Okay, so Snotlings are my go-to team, and I'm extremely eager for the new edition. Snotlings get a huge buff, in my humble opinion. Oh, as the infamous pump wagons no longer carry secret weapon. That is massive. I could not be happier about that. Pump wagons having secret weapon, you could run one and it was fine, and you kind of just like a one and done, like, oh, I'll get a drive and it'll be fine. Them not having secret weapon gives you 2 trolls and 2 pump wagons. That just maximizes the box. You pick up the box, you've got your pump wagons, you get some trolls. This team is now ready to pound. I am very impressed. This is scary. This is huge. It means bribes can be used to keep Snotlings on the pitch when you foul to your heart's content, or in the name of good, clean fun. This also means that you can have a reliable roster with 4 guys on the pitch. A reliable roster with 4 guys. Do the pump wagons, did they have really stupid? I think they had really stupid. But, I mean, ultimately it's just, you get to use the cool model, and that's enough for me. So, Stu, as someone who usually plays in several leagues at the same time, each with a different team, the launch of the new edition has got me particularly excited. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop with the new rosters. I'm looking forward to dusting off some of my older teams to take on a new challenge. I think that my Dark Elves will be one of the first teams I'll be putting to test on the gridiron. The introduction of punt on the runners will give me plenty of new opportunities to move the ball around, and while my assassins can focus on stabbing the opposition, as they have gained hit and run, which now works with stab. I think we knew all that already. The fact that stab works with hit and run is really quite fun. Like, run, 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 stab, leave. The downside of the assassin has always been like, okay, you can stab stuff, but they're just going to counter block you, and you normally don't have, a chance against any kind of combat piece. Assassins don't start with dodge, they don't start with block, they don't start with armor, so it's kind of just stacking up a free block on your very expensive positional is never ideal, but actually now you can blitz with them. That's pretty cool. Okay, John, product developer. As a Norse team enjoyer at Triplo, I don't usually risk interacting with the ball until I've finished duffing up the opposing team. Moving the ball is a last resort. However, with the new secure the ball action allowing my Valkyries or Berserkers to pick it up on a 2+ now, there's much less chance of a turnover, upsetting my brawling plans. Of course, it's unavoidable that my team will suffer the odd casualty in return. There's a silver lining when this happens, though. I'm really looking forward to rolling to see whether any of my players gain Hatred X trait against my regular opponent's teams in a league. We saw... Have we seen anything about that? That's interesting. I do like that. I like that. Okay, all right. There's a couple of things in there. It says secure the ball action allowing my Valkyries or Berserkers to pick it up on a 2+ now. Is that a wording thing, or does that mean only Valkyries and Berserkers can secure the ball? And again, we're going to talk about secure the ball because actually Valkyries being essentially the primary ball carrier on a Norse team, you do think about whether you want sure hands, and now you can still think about whether you want sure hands, but actually if you've got that 2+ to take instead of the 3+, then you don't have to go that way. And the last bit here with some more nuggets is Danny, games developer. Having spent the majority of the previous season playing with Imperial Nobility, I'm looking forward to questing for the end zone with the newest humans to hit the pitch, the Bretonnians. With Squires having wrestle and all of the knights being dauntless, this team has the chance to punch far above its weight class on the gridiron while still being reasonably mobile. The thing that excites me the most about the Bretonnian team is progressing through a league with a pair of Grail Knights, as they have some exceptional starting skills in block and steady footing, ensuring they keep their feet more easy than most and send their opposing sprawling to the dirt. Combining that with the likes of dodge and sidestep once some SPP have been acquired, and you have the makings of some truly star players. Now, we know that the skills have been shifted about a bit, but Grail Knights getting dodge and sidestep to go with steady footing could potentially mean that they have agility as a general, like as a primary access. which is interesting. For a blitzer, I would expect agility to be the last type of skill they'd have, with the exception of the nobility blitzers. It's an interesting one. So it says, thanks guys, it seems like the studio is pumped and raring to get going. We imagine it won't be too long before the Studio League kicks off and tales of glory and woe are spread around the office. So this is going up for pre-order on Saturday, and I think I won't think I'll be far off the spot by saying there's a couple of really great bits in there. And for me, the pick is just that Snotling bit. The pump wagons just not having secret weapon massively changes the team. Like, you can now run Snotlings as Snotlings, and Snotlings have some serious scoring potential. So I really do like that. I think that's a huge boost. That means you can save your bribes and use them on the fungus flingers. Then you've got a pair of fungus flingers, chuck in, and yeah, okay, Snotlings is just carnage. I really love that. Anyway, cool. Right, more Blood Bowl Season 3 stuff. Loving it so far. Let us know in the comments what you think, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking with your pump wagon. Boom.